Hello everyone, and welcome to another XTC stream here on the Sydney City Space Slugs. We have probably the most exciting match that we've streamed yet, because this is the decider between Australia and Sweden. We have Andreas and Tom Harper going head to head to decide the fate of one of the two countries, or decide the fate of both countries, I suppose. I have with me in the commentators box, I have Jim. Welcome, Jim.
Hello. How you going?
Very good,
great
thank you.
work on the match earlier. It's really great to have such a impactful game here today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very thankful for Michael for purposefully throwing the game so that we could have a more exciting last game here. A big shout out to Target Lock TV for hosting that last stream. Last two, in fact. We had one Aussie win and one Swedish win on stream, which was really exciting to see, and which has allowed us to have the penultimate moment here on the Slug stream. So the guys are pretty much all set up. I'm going to give them the go-ahead that they are clear to start. Clear to start, boys. So as the guys get ready to go, I'm going to keep my ear out for the telltale beep sign. While I do that, Jim, do you want to run us through Andreas' squad?
Yeah, so Andreas has a nice triple A wing plus X wing squad here. We've got Wedge Antilles.
Yep.
Oh, my mic went out. Sorry about that.
That was a bit
Wedge
confusing.
with Predator. We've got Hera in the A wing. With Prockets.
All right. Boys are kicking it off. All right, time has started. Sorry, did you finish going through the Rebels? I was so focused on listening for that little bip.
Sorry, I did not. My things in TTS are playing up a bit. We've got Ahsoka with Instinctive Aim, Sense, Concussion Missiles, and Arvel Crinid with Intimidation.
Very exciting. We have on the Australia side, we have Tom Harper, a fellow slug, I might add. He is running the very well-known Heratani squad. So Hera Syndulla with Thread Tracers, Garvin Andreas with nothing but his ability, Kyle Katarn, Jyn Erso, Moldy Crow, and Benthic Two Tubes with Leia Organa, Perceptive Copilot, and the Pivot Wing. A bit of an interesting squad matchup here. The one thing that we found works really well against this Heratani squad is spike damage, which, although Andreas is pulling with him two dice guns, with Arvel's Intimidation and the ability to fire at range 0, he does have the ability to just delete a ship. And you pair that up with Wedge as well, his ability of reducing defense dice. This is, I think, the first engagement will really set the tide for this game, because if Andreas can get the perfect engagement, block someone with, or at least, ram with a boost from Arvel and get every single one of his guns firing into that ship probably dies. It doesn't matter if your name's Kyle, Hera, or Benthic, or Garvin, you are probably going to explode to that onslaught.
Yeah, and even if he does hit into Benthic and choose that target early on, those concussion missiles from Ahsoka are going to do some real hurt after Wedge and Hera have really dug into target here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many tokens you've got. If you're only rolling 1 or 2 defense dice and your opponent is rolling 5, you can have all the evades in the world. You've only got 1 green dice. So I think Andreas' strategy here is to really get every shot on the same ship and use Arvel to reduce that defense dice. Because then, if you hit Benthic, if you hit pretty much any of Tom's ships minus Hera with Wedge, and you've got Arvel bumped in there, that's a 0 dice defense, and that's unanswered red dice coming into you. So there's going to need to be some sort of funky play here, because one of the downsides to Tom's squad is that they really need to stick together to get the Benthic token passing, the Kyle arc passing, Garvin throwing his focuses around, and then also, of course, Hera giving that that token passing during the combat is really going to come down to Tom keeping his ships together. Andreas has a similar requirement, but not nearly as tightly, because there isn't as much token passing, although Ahsoka does have her ability at range 0 to 2 as well.
Yeah, and the interesting thing here is that Andreas does have second player, so he's handed initiative over to Tom, meaning that he has two I6s that can, hopefully for Andreas here, really swing around and dig into Tom's squad from both sides, or he can have both Hera and Wedge flank together and really pass those double mods onto Wedge where it counts.
Absolutely. And I think Tom, the work is here. The onus is on Tom here to do real work. And someone in the chat has said, Sturm said, no pressure, Tom. I'm sure if he could read that. We did have a quick chat to both players before the game, and both of them said that they were scared. I reassured them by telling them that only 2 entire countries would be watching as they decided the fate of this round. And I think that really put them at ease, just knowing that all their friends would be there to support them. So there is a lot of pressure, I think, on both players. There's been some really, really close games across. So for those of you who don't know, Sweden is at 3 wins and Australia is at 3 wins, and this is the final game for round 3. Sweden went down 1-6 against the US in round 1, so they had the bye last week, so they've had 1 week of wounds licking, and they have now come back in force and have begun to slowly pick away at the Australian team. Hopefully, obviously we're going to have a small bias here. Tom is a very good friend of ours. He's a slug, and he's representing the country that we both live in. So we are rooting for Tom here, but I think, the Swedish players have played so well. And, I was commentating with Simon on the last game, and everyone from Sweden that I have met, and I've only met these guys, they're all really lovely men and people. So I've got to give it to them. They're very nice people, and if they win, I will still feel good because they're nice people.
It always feels nice to utterly defeat a nice person. So we've actually got some pretty interesting movements here. So Wedge spreading out a bit wider, hoping to move into those obstacles there in the middle, using them as cover. Tom's definitely taking the appropriate maneuver, make way for that corner, possibly. Hopefully not get stuck behind that gas cloud. So we might actually see Tom decide to come in here, or just push forward and take advantage of holding that corner space.
Yeah, I think the engagement in the rocks probably favours the A-Wings. They've just got that, a red boost every turn with a mod. So they'll happily flit about through those obstacles and take some really solid shots. The real key here, though, is Andreas needs to keep that space open in front of Arvel, and keep it in front of Tom's squad to try and get that contact. He needs to get Arvel in range 0 for the engagement phase so that he can delete a ship. So that's sort of... And Tom knows that too, so it's not like it's a big secret. I think Tom's very aware of what Andreas' goal here is, and that's to get Arvel at range 0. So he's going to do his best, possibly maybe even a surprise layer at some point, or even just doing a completely different move than what would be obvious, just to try and hold that back, because that is really a key point for Andreas' victory here, is getting that Arvel to reduce a defense dice.
So you mentioned earlier that Tom's approach is pretty standard. We understand that his ships will have to stick quite close together to reap the benefits of all the token passing. So what do you think of Andreas' approach here? He definitely doesn't want to overcommit with Arvel. There is a fear of that right now. What do you think he does here on his approach?
I think Arvel will probably just come up that left-hand side of the board. He needs to keep him in a sort of a predator crouched position, like a lion in the reeds. He needs to have him ready for a 5 or a 4 straight, but at the same time, he needs to get the other shots in. And with Wedge where he is now, Wedge pretty much is going to have to come through those rocks and pick a side. And we can see Tom now is deciding, I will come straight down the middle of those obstacles, and you will face me here. I'm not necessarily sure if that's going to be to his benefit. We'll have to wait and see what he plans here, because I do think, just due to the maneuverability of those A-Wings, a combat here in the middle of the rocks does favour Andreas.
Yeah, it still might be a bit tricky for them, and we see Owl turn out there. A good, safe maneuver. He's probably biding his time here. Tom looks like he wants to keep that pressure on Wedge and stop him from making those really, really key flanking maneuvers here. If he keeps that pressure on, he's always got Leia to hopefully move out of this situation, and a boost there from Arvel as well.
So Arvel does have, again, the crouch tiger position does sort of rely on a straight maneuver, but he's not totally out of position here. He's given himself another turn to get his other A-Wings into firing range before he puts Arvel into that pouncing position. And I could lie, and he could do a barrel, or he's giving an action with Ahsoka to Hera. So let's see what he punches in. One tip I will give to people is enable click mode on your dials when you're playing TTS.
It changes everything.
I have seen Andreas struggle every time he's gone for a reposition so far. So that's just one. Right click, enable click mode, and you will be the happiest player on the table.
There is an interesting option for Andreas here as well, which is to kind of set up that little flank with Arvel and hopefully leave enough room for the 5 straight to come back in and ahead of Tom's squad to set up that block. He might not get that shot out the front of Arvel, that lovely range 0 shot, but he'll still hopefully pop that intimidation for the rest of his team. And we do see a nice slow maneuver there from Wedge straight to.
Thank you for the follow, Vintage 144. We really appreciate everyone who's been keeping up with the channel. We will continue to stream once XTC is finished as well, and we will continue to stream XTC matches while they're happening. I speak too soon. We have a cheeky little shot here from Hera out into Benthic. Probably does 0 damage here. 1 dice is not going to do any damage. Hera can pass Jyn Erso into an evade. And that's probably what Tom does here. Passes a focus, spends the focus. It's the same result in the end. What I had planned to say was that rock right there in the center is going to cause some problems for Wedge. He could probably bank in and maybe roll, or he could commit to a flank around the side. 3 hits here. A pot shot. Hera's got the evade, but no other support other than that. So, and she's okay. That was close though. That was almost a damage into Hera for free. Another thank you to Wilhelm for the follow. Keep them coming, guys. I love seeing that custom graphic come up. It took me so long to get it working properly. So just follow, just so I can look at that, because it makes me happy. So for Andreas here, he's sort of set up a semi-pincer maneuver. He's got the A-Wings on the left side, Wedge up the center of the board. But the main problem here again is that rock. If that rock wasn't there, Wedge probably wouldn't be there. It keeps him safe, but it also stops him from just getting a really solid shot. Got to remember that Benthic and Kyle will move before Arvel. So Arvel can 3 hard focus boost if he can get that range 0. Tom will have and the risk of that of Arvel is if you don't end up getting that bump, you're probably taking a couple of range 1 shots back. But because of where Andreas has put Arvel with that hard turn, and re-looking at the board, Tom could bank here, which is probably what he's going to do, bank in. But the bank in probably leaves Benthic open to an Arvel bump, which would also probably allow it too hard to get a shot in from Wedge, and that's every ship then shooting into Benthic. So do you think maybe even a Leia stop?
It's interesting. I wouldn't place any bets on a Leia stop here. It does leave Tom in a bad position for the following turns to kind of re-establish some level of dominance, I guess. But Andreas's positioning isn't too bad. That rock in the middle plays to his advantage here. And if Tom makes the decision to turn in on those A-wings, Wedge has free reign. He'll probably be threatened by Hera and Kyle's arc still, so he won't really get a free pass. But Tom has to make a decision here, I think, to either he'll likely commit to those A-wings with that little bit of extra coverage from Kyle's arc and Hera, but he may just put it all on Wedge here, get him off the board, and then play around with that layer the turn after.
What do you do with Wedge here? Because I'm looking at it too hard, and I probably like it. A one bank is also obviously very safe. You can just one bank boost. He'll have full board knowledge, so he can just close his wings, one bank barrel roll. Ahsoka isn't there to help out with any extra modding, so and you really do want that wedge shot fully modded, because if you can get Arvel and then a fully modded wedge shot, that is pain. That is just pure pain. But Wedge does have Predator as well, I should mention. So, actually, I think we'll probably see maybe a 2-bank to open up for a barrel roll, just to get that bullseye unobstructed on. And then just use Hera for maybe a focus support. But one of the things that Ahsoka is here for is to double mod Hera's proton rockets. And she's set up perfectly to get that onto Benthic next turn. Although Ahsoka is a bit slim on force at the moment. She's still got her ability available, but she'll be giving it all up to get this double mod for Hera if she so desires.
Yeah, it is a little bit interesting here. Ahsoka almost looking out of position if Andreas does decide to come in.
So we have a layer.
Sorry,
we have a layer. I said this is probably where Tom tries to. It was basically a bait, right? Arvel was set up. If Arvel has just done a slow maneuver this turn, then that is a really bad move for Tom. Arvel has gone in. He's probably not going to do a boost, obviously, but this is Tom's opportunity now to maybe get Arvel out of the way. Probably won't get good enough shots to do so unless he's done it too hard with Garvin. Do you boost him?
I wouldn't if I was. Ooh. So he's choosing to stay out of that arc, and here we'll likely see him scooch in front of the squad again. He won't get those shots, but he'll still hopefully.
He does do the too hard.
Oh, he calls. Oh.
Wow. So, I mean, you can just target lock with Garvin and make Arvel's sitting there unmodded. He's going to cause you pain next turn. Garvin's a little out of position, but also Garvin is the one. If you shoot Garvin, he is Super Luke at that point. He is free focus every single turn with Hera there. So you probably see a target lock there from Ahsoka. Oh, he's thinking about doing Ahsoka's ability.
Yeah, he might pass the focus off to Arvel.
Yeah, Arvel is such a powerful. To Hera. Sorry, of course that makes even more sense.
Oh, right.
So you can double. She's probably going to target lock, and she is going to smash Garvin with a proton rocket.
Okay. 2 straights there. I assume hoping to not get caught out by a little wedge pot shot.
He's also set up for a good bump with for Kyle next turn. So there's the target lock. The wedge is facing right into the middle of that rock, but the shot will probably be unobstructed. Oh, it might even be obstructed.
It's obstructed. Yeah.
So here's Hera. She's going to take a target lock. She is going to have a fully modded proton rocket into Garvin. Struggling again with the target lock with the dial. Just make sure you change it to enable click mode. It is the greatest invention on TTS.
And while we wait for this, we've got a few cheers from the chat. We've got Go Space Slugs. Do it for Kyle. Kyle, thanks for joining us. I assume that's Kyle. Mr. Bonda, Go Tom Go. Kirk22, hey Andreas. Some Swedens. So it looks like we've got a good turnout. Everyone, put in your cheers in the chat. If Team Sweden's here, let them know. Let them know you're in their corner. If you're on the corner of Australia, let us know as well. Give us an Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi. All right, so ooh, goes for a barrel roll with Hera. I guess probably doesn't want to end up taking that return shot because Tom could just change mind and fire everything into Hera instead. So Hera was feeling a little out of position. Barrel rolls does not take the target lock. He may have also given up the bullseye. I can't quite tell from my angle.
It does look like he's lost the bullseye there, but you've got a safe Hera. You can't really complain, right?
So Tom's probably very happy at that decision. Yep, firing into Hera. So Kyle passes a token over to Hera, who's happy to have it. It's a big support there for Garvin.
Hoping to strip that focus from Hera here, I guess.
Ooh, gets. Why is he rolling 3?
He's rolled.
Traces.
Right
Traces.
the traces. Yeah.
That explains. Sorry, I didn't even think about traces. That completely explains the barrel roll there because you really are taking a few too many shots there if those traces go off because then Garvin could have changed his lock as well.
Yep. Great call from Andreas there, knowing that those traces will likely.
Yeah, because that probably is you're giving up Hera there at that point because she only has 1 token. So everyone's taken it. So we're going to have a shot from Kyle and a shot from Benthic, fully modded into Hera at range 3. Tom's probably pretty happy with that, but Garvin being a little bit out of position for that shot probably doesn't feel great. So that is a range 1 into Garvin. So it'll be 3 on 2. Yep, that's the shot he's taking. It's probably the correct shot. I guess the other shots aren't that good, but Garvin can avoid this fairly easily. Obviously not going to spend that. Gets the evade. He's totally fine. He's the wedge shot. Obstructed, which turns into unobstructed, essentially. Wedge has the target lock, spends it. Oh, it doesn't quite convert it. Probably not feeling comfortable enough to spend that Hera evade, I'm wondering. Nope. Ooh, so he could pass the Hera to change it to an evade, but just takes the shield. It's not really worth spending that focus just yet, because Garvin has 2 more shots coming in.
Yeah, definitely looking to try and get efficiency out of Garvin spending that focus here.
So Ahsoka spends her focus, and Garvin just rolls out of the shot. So this is the key. So this is Garvin up next. Garvin's got a shot into Arvel, or into range 3 into a tokenless and forceless Ahsoka, but probably isn't, not juicy enough. He wants the target lock focus shot into Arvel. Rolls the dice, gets exactly what he wanted.
Ooh.
Does the whole Garvin, Hera, Atani mind link. Oh, and Arvel Maddie's out of it. That has to hurt. That has to hurt. Yeah, Tom probably not loving that result. Was hoping to at least strip the focus off of Hera from that. But shots aren't over yet. 3 dice into Hera here. Really needs to get something out of this round. It's got the lock.
Tom sinks some damage in here. He's still got Benthic as well. We've got 3.
Oh, that just... Yeah, that is hard. I mean, that's the dice game that we play. But I'm sure it can't be too enjoyable for Tom to just watch those little squiggles come up on the dice when he's putting work in. Thank you for Twitchy5x5 for the follow. Appreciate that. 2 natties. The dice here on Andreas' side have been incredible. Tom just not able to get nearly as good on the greens. Spends and returns to Hera, the focus. No, sorry, passes it back to Kyle, which is the correct move there. Just gets the multi-crow charged up again. Sturm saying green dice are being nice for Tom. I think they're being really, really rude for Tom. I think he's probably getting a little frustrated that naturals out of Andreas. This is into wedge, I think. Oh, that was a lot of paint on a lot of green dice there for Andreas. That probably should have been a little bit more even in the exchange, just with the Jin Urso out there, with Garvin's ability, Hera passing tokens. Garvin's probably on what I would have expected him to be on. Maybe an extra damage card in there, but to take nothing on Andreas' side is statistically a little improbable. But it's not going to necessarily change too much of the game. There is a real opportunity here now for Andreas to get Arvel in there and to really do some damage.
Yeah, here's the risk about layering this turn as well. We didn't see any damage in Tom's favour here, and now he's in a bit of a position where Arvel's in a great spot to block. Hopefully get some shots off with that block as well. But it is looking tough here for Tom to turn this around and come back in on these A-Wings as they wreak havoc in those close quarters. What do you think Tom's options are here, Cam?
Tom's options... Tom's options here are to probably... Leia's gone. Garvin's out of position. You don't have a 1 forward for Benthic, but Benthic really, really wants to get that focus action off. So, I'm really not sure. I think a 3 bank fits in there if you really want to make sure you can get that focus on. Honestly, probably a stop from Benthic. Otherwise, he's probably just going to get exploded. A 1 bank bump from Kyle. Kyle has 2 focus tokens, so it's not the end of the world, but he could maybe 2 bank and get his focus action. Hera probably... but you also want to pass a token. I think Tom's in a really bad spot here. There's probably
I'll just get you to update that overlay.
Oh, yep. Sorry, guys. I was so excited. Totally missed it. Overlay updated. So, really, what we had there was 2 shields on Garvin, a Leia spend, and 3 force... Sorry, down to 1 force on Ahsoka. So,
and a thread tracer's out as well.
And a thread tracer's out as well, thank you, yes. So I really don't think Tom's position here is favourable. I think Andreas has really nice ability to turn wedge in on Garvin. Ahsoka is far enough away to really put some pain in on this next turn. And, well, Arvel's probably just going to do a straight manoeuvre. Maybe even a 2 bank, just bump into Garvin and hope to try and catch someone by the engagement phase. Yes, Sturm's saying, does Tom bug out to reset? Probably. But I don't think there's anywhere that Benthic can go where Benthic is not going to get hurt. And look, a stop is the safest move, but it also means you're not getting that focus. And there's the 2 bank that I mentioned from Kyle. Kyle could focus and then link to a rotate to just try and get that arc on to pass. Actually, I do see maybe a 3 hard or a 2 hard from Hera. He's now considering whether or not, yeah, he does the rotate, which is a stressful red rotate. So yep, there's the 2 forward from what's his name? Arvel. So
Marvel, he's got good options here. He can either boost into Benthic or
No.
probably the better option here is to boost into Kyle.
no,
Um,
he went over a cloud and didn't
oh,
take the strain.
yep.
That strain would have been massive because yeah, here's the 4K from Garvin. The only lock Garvin still has his lock. Sorry, on Arvel. So probably I don't know. He's taken shots from ye old wedge there for sure. Ooh. I think maybe Andreas was expecting Tom to change targets and push in on Ahsoka. Doesn't have Ahsoka's ability there, which I'm sure he would love to have. But he takes the target lock and then boosts. Not sure who he's locking. Probably, yeah, Benthic. Yep, does one hard right. I did actually call almost all of the maneuvers here, except I didn't call. Sorry, all of Tom's maneuvers here. Ooh, Hera goes over the rock.
Oh, we could see Hera really punished here, looking like a range 1 from Kyle and Benthic.
Checks his rear flank. Not sure what he's checking there. He goes wedge. Does the one bank, clears it, opens his wings. Oh, I think his wings were open last turn. I hope so. He's got Garvin. Garvin does not have Hera support, but he does have Kyle support. Did just lock onto Benthic and just try and shoot Benthic? Yeah, Arvel could die here. I do agree, Blizz. Just focus. Yeah, keep your options open. Fair enough. I don't think he spent his lock on Garvin last turn. All right, start of engagement now. Tom has to make the decision. Where is that extra focus from Kyle going?
So interesting choices here for Tom as well. Both range 1 shots into Arvel, and it looks like Hera too. Yep.
Yeah.
So does Tom really want to get off Arvel here? Or is Hera the key piece to really break down this squad?
I mean, points-wise, Hera is worth more.
Yeah.
And she's also taken no damage. Sorry, I could update the overlay. Sorry, guys. I will focus on the overlay from now. Too busy chin wagon. 2 hits from Hera. Hera does have her lock still as well, actually, on Hera. So I'm wondering if Tom remembers that he's got that. I think you spent it here, buddy. No. Oh, if he'd spent it, that would have been, 1 health Hera. She got some shots back. Yeah, missed opportunity there for Tom. I'm pretty sure she's still got a target lock out there. So that was a missed opportunity from Tom. Probably forgot. Something I talked about in the stream on Target Lock TV earlier, that missed opportunities have been really playing a big part of XTC, I've noticed. Oh, here we go. Hera. Just one hit. Cole rolls. Gets the squiggle.
Yeah, I always seem to find that when these locks are planted on the bases, the ships tend to get in the way.
Yeah, they are stacked on as well. But I think Hera is just sitting there. So this is Wedge's shot out into range 3 onto Garvin. So Garvin's got no mods here, no mods defensively. There's a crit sitting there. Ooh.
He might be in range for the focus for Hera here. At least check it.
Yeah, he's checking it.
No, definitely out.
So that's a hit and a crit into Garvin. What you don't want to see here is a weapons failure. And I can't quite see what that is.
Blinded pilot.
That's not... Actually, that is worse because he does have a target lock out there. Oh. Wrong button. There we go.
When we see a range 2 shot here from Ahsoka. Cheeky, right into the back of Benthic.
So he does have concussion missile, which I'm sure he's going to fire here. Yep. Concussion. Tom's really, really upset to see that blinded pilot on on Garvin, because that was going to be a very solid shot into the back of Arvel there. So we've got hit crit going into Benthic. Benthic just probably takes 2 on the shield. He really needs to get Hera or Arvel off the board this turn. You just take those shields, I think.
Oh, Biz makes a great point in the chat, is that likely wants to save Hera's shot for either Benthic or Kyle here.
Yeah, you don't spend the
Yeah.
Garvin shot.
No, sorry, Hera's lock.
Oh, sorry, that is correct.
Yeah.
I totally didn't even think about that. See, Tom is a much better player than I am. All right, so we didn't have any. We did 2-2 on Benthic, so he did take the shields, didn't spend.
Seeing Garvin shoot at Hera here as well.
Shooting Hera.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can't use the lock
2
on Arvel,
crits.
so
Yep, may as well, because you can fix it next turn. Oh, gets it again. Natty's out of a real killer shot. He was really hoping to get that. So it's a range 1 into Hera here. So it's 4 dice into 3. She's got 2 hull left. Kyle does not have the lock anymore. Oh, he's got Hera's lock, so he's going to use that. Very good. Into a hit. Spends a focus.
this is where it counts.
Yep.
Good use of that Hera
Because if
lock.
you can clear that, then Benthic's got a really lovely shot into Arvel. And that is a dead Hera. That is hit crit going into Hera. Tom's probably pretty happy about that. Just in terms of ship value, not point value, but actual ability value, Hera is just a powerful, powerful piece. So Hera takes 3 damage, and she is off the board. Did not get the prockets off. That is very sad. Sad Hera. See, that's why I think he probably should have just copped the shot last turn and fired those prockets fully powered, because that would have been a dead Garvin, I suspect, last turn. So who was he shooting this one into? This is Arvel into... Oof, just 1.
Looks like Kyle.
Can't get it. Takes
Benthic.
another shield onto Benthic. All right. So this is a big shot. This is no mods for Arvel, and you've got to focus sitting on Hera there for Benthic. If he can clear Arvel off, that is a very big win for Tom here. Oh, 3. So it's not going to clear him off, but this is... Oh, there we go. That's half points on Arvel. That puts Tom up. It is currently 65 to 23 Tom's way. Didn't kill...
This Bogan makes a great point here. Those green dice are criminal. So we are seeing really good, strong green dice from Andreas here, but those green dice can't save you forever. Heratani always has those tokens. A lot more consistency than green dice will give you.
But as the engagements go on, Heratani's power decreases as there's less and less and less tokens on the board. And you can already see it. We have 1 focus left on Kyle, and that is big. That is big for Andreas. He's got Ahsoka in the flank. I suspect probably just a 1 hard from Arvel, probably to the left. Just kill Benthic. Where to go with Wedge? Maybe just a 1 bank. I guess Andreas can't be too crazy here, because although Wedge is a very strong piece, if he takes every single ship shooting into him in a turn, it's probably going to hurt. Garvin's not really sitting too pretty either. He's on 2 health, so a single shot here from Wedge could do it. So do you think maybe you 2 bank Garvel, maybe repair, or even just boost, just to block Wedge up, because that way Wedge can't kill you, because Ahsoka could come around and Arvel could also come around and make you hurt, but at least you won't get initiative killed by Wedge and maybe make it to next turn.
You could just hope to set up a block here with Garvin. Garvin's actually in a great position to kind of block up Wedge and take advantage of him when he's tokenless. Without that support from Ahsoka, Wedge is definitely going to suffer. No support from Ahsoka, no support from Hera as well, who's now off the board. But Arvel also has the opportunity to really kind of just stay in there. That too hard barrel roll and hopefully block it up as well.
Yeah, I think
Um,
a too hard barrel roll blocks Kyle, maybe blocks Kyle, and then if Wedge just even one banks, just could blow Kyle off the board. But yes, Kirk in the chat mentions Ahsoka is in a really good spot. She is very happy to be sitting right there behind Tom's pretty much most of his squad there. So the dials are all set. Leia is back at 2 charges, so we won't see her this round. Tom will be primed and ready to go with Leia next turn, but whether or not he's in a position to use it. Yeah, and Biz makes another good point, a counterpoint. Ahsoka is force-starved. Yeah, that she on the first, I think first or second turn, she actually spent her force. It would have been the second turn. Spent her force to allow Hera a barrel roll to avoid this bottom left rock here, which felt more like Andreas had mispositioned Hera and needed to save it than it was as an actual tactical move. So that really definitely hurt him because it stopped from Ahsoka using her ability last turn and getting into even better positions. So there's a 1 forward bump with Benthic and a 1 straight with Kyle. Kyle obviously just going to focus here whether or not he rotates the arc again. Hoping that blocks a 1 bank from Wedge. But then it also has gummed up the works for Garvin. I think maybe he's just expecting Garvin to probably die here. Ooh, a lovely 3 sloop there from Arvel. Very smart. I definitely didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it was an interesting place to be here. He could have definitely made the decision to block up Benthic and take those range 0 shots with Ahsoka behind as well, but he's gone for the safer option. And we see that slow move from Garvin.
Yeah, I mean, a barrel roll probably looks pretty good here, but that will probably get out of a Wedge arc if Wedge is going straight, and you might get a shot into him. You probably won't get initiative killed by Ahsoka, because she's pretty hungry for Benthic there, I think.
Do you think Wedge is going fast here? I feel like Wedge has a good opportunity to force straight and boost and hopefully get out of most of these arcs if he's suspected that Benthic bump.
So there's a 1 hard from Hera. She is sitting very happily here. She takes a lock probably on Hera. That's where I would put it. Nope, onto Benthic. Keep piling into Benthic for sure. Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Just a 1 straight from Wedge.
Oh no.
That is very bad for Tom. Very, very bad. There wasn't really much he could have done there with Govan. Oh, no, he's like, I'm not going to take any shots from. He's barrel rolling. I think he's barrel rolling to get bullseye on Kyle, but I'm not sure if that actually gets it. And he's just allowed Garvin free shots into him because Garvin can't be killed beforehand. Although Garvin can't mod his dice at all anyway.
He does have the bullseye.
Does get it. Yep.
Yeah, but he does escape Kyle's front arc as well, so he's not taking that range 1 4-die shot from Kyle.
So he's looking like he's just wants to get Benthic off the board. Benthic is the most expensive piece in Tom's squad, so it definitely makes sense. I think it will put him back in the lead if he can get it. 4 hits. Ooh, Benthic lives. He's on 1 health now.
No, he rolled an evade.
He rolled an evade.
Yeah.
He's on 2 health. But I doubt he survives this onslaught here. Hit crit. Whoa, that's... he's going to need to see 2 pictures here. Sees them.
Ooh.
Spends the Hera to take a single crit. Could have been... it's a gamble. There's no tokens left on the board now. Oh, actually, sorry, I think Kyle's still got 1. So that was a structural, I think. Can you see what that
Damaged engine.
Damaged engine. Oh, okay, that's not so bad.
And he'll still have that range 1 from Arvel threatening him there. But Tom's kind of in a decent spot here still.
So he's firing. That you don't want to see that. He's firing into wedge here. I mean, yeah, does nothing. Yeah, you don't love that. Kyle's got a shot as well. Obstructed, yeah. Range 2. Yeah, no real good shots here. I don't think Benthic's going to get an answer to wedge. Hit crit, but probably does nothing here, yeah. And here's Arvel going for the kill shot into Benthic. 3 dice into 2. Just needs 3 natties. And he gets it.
Oh,
There you go. That's dead. That's dead Benthic.
you hate to see it.
Yeah, nothing Tom can do about that one. Yeah, it's now turned a little bit, and Tom is not sitting in a great spot. Leia is active again, but I don't see...
Benthic's dead, so there's no layer.
Oh, correct. Yep. Benthic had Leia. So, no Leia. Wedge has a pretty nice 3 Talon there. If he wants to try and catch Garvin. And also Garvin will have to survive a shot from Ahsoka as well. So, likely that Garvin goes down and maybe doesn't get an answer. And you've got to take out Wedge because Wedge... Hera can probably win Tom the game if it just comes down to Hera v Ahsoka and Arvel. Tom really needs to kill Wedge, and Wedge is untouched. Bombs would be fantastic here if he had bombs on Kyle. But this squad fits in so much efficiency in 200 points that there's no room. There's no room for that.
Ahsoka's got 2 force back as well, so she's in a really good position to help Wedge this next turn, who has quite an easy turn in, by the looks of it, to follow through on Tom's squad here.
So Kyle's in a tough spot too, because Kyle doesn't have a 1 straight, doesn't have a 2 straight. 1 bank probably, but you're causing some problems there for Garvin. Yeah, Tom's positioning here is a bit rough. I think he really wasn't expecting that 3 sloop and was hoping to block Wedge.
Yeah, great move from Andreas. I mean, if you've got Arvel behind your opponent's squad just throwing dice safely, then he doesn't really need to be bumping and using that ability.
A red 3 hard from Kyle.
Yeah, hoping to keep Arc on Arvel here, I assume.
Yeah, because although... Oh, you know what he's actually trying to block there? The 3 Talon that I'd pointed out. I think that's one of his plans there. Because that 3 Talon pretty much couldn't really be answered in a meaningful shot. But here you've blocked it. And if he's blocked that, if there really is a 3 Talon in there from Wedge, then that would be Tom's chance if he's called that correctly.
We could still see some support from Ahsoka here. So Ahsoka can do that pseudo-coordinate to hopefully get Wedge that barrel roll if he has Talon rolled. But... ooh.
That is true, actually. That is a really good point. Thank you, Travis Foss. Big man himself. So here we go. Spent... So probably hasn't got a 3 Talon in there because you wouldn't want to put Ahsoka there. But Ahsoka is not initiative killing Wedge. Sorry, Garvin. In that position. So I wonder...
Yeah, Ahsoka's tokenless as well against the range 1 from Garvin. It's a bit of a risk here.
Gives a target lock to Arvel.
Lock and boost. Is that...
yes it is. That is a very, very smart move there. Yep, that is a dead Garvin. That is a dead Garvin. Really, really great play there from Andreas. He knows what he's doing. He knows his squad well. Ahsoka still gets an action. I'm getting a little excited there. Yeah, Tom is looking in a really rough spot here. Garvin is dead because no one can initiative kill him here. He may also not even have a shot on Wedge. The
I
Wedge
think
may
we just
have.
picked the nice slow one forward from Wedge.
Yep.
Self keep arc.
Could have a 4K in. Has a 3. He had the talent in, and the talent fits.
Oh, he fit. Oh,
Yeah, that. I mean, I don't like to call games too early, but this is probably game here. Tom just didn't have the arcs and the position to really turn in and get meaningful shots here. I did call the talent, so I'm proud of that. But this isn't looking like it's going to be very rough. I don't think that's the right call shooting Garvin here. You've got a fully modded or a fairly well modded shot.
yeah, you definitely wanted to go into Hera.
Yeah, he had a bullseye shot into area there. So that's a dead Garvin. Garvin has no defense dice. Garvin takes 2 and dies. Yeah, Tom, I think, had a really great setup for that first engagement, but the green dice really... Because we've got to remember, Arvel was sitting on no tokens through 3 natural greens and just is now alive on 2 health. So this was Ahsoka into to Kyle. Takes nothing. I think. Was that what just happened?
Yeah.
Shooting Wedge. He knows Wedge is the end game piece. If he can kill Wedge, Ahsoka and Kyle, just isn't getting the dice. Passes the focus over from Hera anyway, despite not even spending it. Kyle can keep it anyway, and Ahsoka's not going to really do anything
He's
with
still
it.
going to take a shot.
Although he's going to take the shot, yeah.
Not too sure if passing that focus was the right idea, but Kyle is still full and does have the opportunity to dig in with those extra focus tokens.
And does have the focus, so gets 1 evade. So the focus wouldn't have helped her anyway. She rolled 2 blanks. Takes a shield. So points-wise, Andreas is in the lead, 107 to Tom's 65. It is, it's a rough. I think this was a rough matchup for Tom at face value. And then that first engagement, not getting any damage in, despite having really good positioning and really good shots, I think that really just turned the game there. It was really hard for him. He had to use Leia. He had to use thread traces and tokens to really do work, and got nothing out of it. And then sacrificed position for that 1 turn of good shots, and just didn't get to capitalize. And now has been caught out of position, pants down, and Andreas has just started spinning circles around him and picking ships off.
Yeah, I'm still on the board with that Leia call. I still think it may have been too early for him, looking at where things would have gone a few turns later.
I don't
especially
think
now
so.
with the foresight of it.
So if you go back there and you 1 forward with Benthic, Benthic explodes that turn probably, because you've got a fully modded proton rocket, you've got Wedge, you've got Ahsoka and Arvel, all 4 ships. It's exactly what Andreas wanted, was all 4 ships shooting into the same enemy, and that would have been a dead Benthic that turn. Tom had to do that. I don't think it was good, but it was better than just letting Benthic explode for nothing, which is what probably would have happened. But I think that just shows how bad the matchup was for Tom in general, that he had to make what was a pretty bad call, because that was pretty much the best thing he could do in that moment.
Yep. I think someone mentioned it in the chat before. 3 bank was also quite a good opportunity there for Benthic. But again, we sit comfortably in our chairs, watching this with no stress on our shoulders.
In our spectator throne.
As these players fight it out. for the last match between Sweden and Australia.
Yeah, it's looking real rough here for Tom. These two ships are pretty far away. They'll reconverge next turn, but oh, he's very lucky to not have that wedge shot there. Cheeky range 3 from Ahsoka. Looks good.
And he's safe, spends the focus.
Thank you for the follow, Resolver in. Appreciate it. So this is a range 2 into a tokenless Arvel from Kyle's mobile arc. Just a 1. And evaded. Yeah, Tom just not getting quality shots.
Yeah, we definitely have seen a lean towards Andreas on those green dice in key moments, especially that turn earlier.
McLovin echoing in the chat. He thinks that early Leia was the correct call. The early Hera and Arvel variance was just huge. Agreed. I think that really was the turning point for Tom. I think he made a good call in that moment. Because really, if you do anything other than the Leia, you just lose Benthic. And then if that variance happens the same way, you lose him for nothing. But I do agree, Deering, easy win from here, agreed. Tom will make Andreas work for it.
I think Arvel
was stressed.
Able to K-turn.
That is great, actually. Yeah, sorry guys, I will just jump in. I'll hit Judge up. That's actually a really good point. Don't know how they missed that. I'll just jump in. Game on. Guys, illegal K-turn. Have they resolved it? No, they just moved past it.
Yeah, it was definitely a lock boost.
Yes, yeah.
And I think Tom's just paused the timer there.
Tom's paused timer.
Have you seen the judge call, possibly? Was a stressful boost. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tom's now figuring out about Arvel. So we'll let the guys... I've called in for a judge. Hopefully someone is active.
Thanks again, guys, for letting us know of that play. Just a reminder, we are 90 seconds. We have a 90-second delay here. So it does take some time for you guys to come through for us. But I think we are seeing...
So sorry, we got a damage on Hera. I'm just making sure I've got all the damage correct currently. Yeah, so that was... the damage on Hera was actually from the Arvel shot too. So that actually does make a difference. Because that shouldn't have happened.
I think that was a turn prior, the damage on Hera, wasn't it?
All good, Simon. Simon, who is... Simon, who is the Target Lock TV. He's the Swedish captain. He has jumped in the chat and let them know. That is true. Yeah, so that also means that Arvel would have been at range 2 instead of range 3. So that would have adjusted that shot as well. So, yeah, good catch, guys. This is the power, I think, of streaming these games on streaming these games is the guys can't get away with these cheeky little Not that I think anyone was cheating, but mistakes happen. It's easy. This is not a perfect system.
We did see the Swedes in full force in our chat earlier. So you guys aren't cheating. We love you. You're very friendly, and thanks for watching.
So yeah, Simon has told the guys they've sorted it out. They've just said to us that they've called it as Arvel going 2 forward white, and now they're redoing dials for this turn because obviously the board state has changed. So Tom this time just 1 forward, takes the focus. Arvel can boost and possibly get a shot in on Karl's behind. Yes, that's correct. So I'm guessing time has started again. I might have to redo that. So it's time is actually at 18 minutes in a moment. So I will just get ready to press that.
See a nice cruisy 3 straight from Ahsoka there. Now on to Force, taking the lock on to Hera. Easy in that.
We will be just a
through.
little bit ahead of the table clock.
We see Hera doing a 1 hard there, straight towards Ahsoka. Hera's taking that lock, hoping to get the focus passed from Kyle.
Yep. I don't think she'll have the shot though. But she boosts. She gets whatever shot she wants. Here's Wedge. He's probably doing a hard turn round. 3 hard? Yep. 3 hard. Do the boost. Yeah, a bit of a messy turn last turn. The guys they're both pretty chill guys. I'm sure they've sorted it out and they're happy to just keep playing the game. I think Tom probably knows that he's playing from he's fighting from the ground here on his back. Alright, Kyle pass off that focus, of course. He's got the range 3 out to Arvel. Ahsoka is untouched, has 2 force. He's doing the Arvel shot. 2 into 4, sorry. Oh, tease. And just rolls evades. Doesn't need to do anything else. Here's a concussion missile from Ahsoka. Gets 2, spends the lock. It's all paint. There they are. That's what he's been waiting for. 3 natural evades.
They turn in his favour now. So
Kyle will get his shot first, and I believe Arvel will take a shot back into him. He does have Arvel though. So Arvel's only got 2 health. You can't keep rolling natural evades to live. See if they... Do you spend it? Yeah, yep, spend. Oh, it passes it, then spends it. That was a decision whether or not he leaves it there. And again, Arvel just natural evades. Oh, no shot. So Flipstirred says in the chat we should probably experiment with the rewind button in TTS in these sort of situations. It, air quotes, should be fine. Probably. But I don't think anyone really wants to risk it. And although this is a high-stakes game, I think at this point, if you're looking at the score, I don't think Tom feels like it's a high-stakes game, so I don't think he's really too fussed, to be honest. And knowing Tom personally and having had a good chat with Andreas, I think both of the guys are pretty lax. Yeah, Biz says, I love the word experiment during important live streams. I agree. This is a very important live stream.
So Kyle's in a scary position here. He's got all 3 ships here, with the ability to come at him unless he kind of hides behind that rock there, to get away from Wedge. But do you really want to be doing that? You don't really want to separate Hera too much, but Tom really doesn't have an option here. He still has that I6 on the field, which can hopefully play around those other A-wings, while Wedge has free reign here.
Arvel probably just 2 banks boosts. Oh, sorry, 2 hards. I was going to say 2 hard barrel roll. Yeah, it's basically Andreas' game at this point. Tom just has to do stuff and then let Andreas respond. Yeah, Marcel, yes it is. Everyone's answering you in the chat anyway. And you'll hear this 90 seconds after I say it. Yeah, that's a real nice little spot there for Arvel. Bumps with Ahsoka, but I don't think he really cares too much, to be honest. She's at full force now. She's not taking a shot. Looks like it'll be Wedge and Arvel shooting into probably Kyle this turn. Although Kyle's at full health, he can crumble under the fire. I mean, Tom has all the work to do here. He needs to kill Wedge, and he needs to then not lose half on Hera and let Hera finish off the other 2 ships. And that's a lot to ask of a little A-wing to do in 12 minutes. So he's got the Predator, range 2. Sorry, range 3. Sorry, just range 3 into Kyle. So Kyle will still get his 2 defense dice. Oh, that's what Wedge wants. Make use of that 2-point Predator. Ooh. That's at least a damage, and if Kyle doesn't get any pain here, he's taking a crit. Shields are down on Kyle. Yeah, it's just... the sun is not coming out for Tom.
Good. Some nice token passing there. We see Kyle only take 1. The focus being passed over turned into an evade.
Oh, right. Yep. Sorry. I was reading chat. Oh, just does not get any help here. Yeah. Spend the focus, take nothing. Tom really needs the dice to sort of start helping him out a little bit. He needs a bit of luck, and he's just not getting any. Because in an end game like this, you need luck. You need the dice to start working it for you. And yeah, it's just not happening for Tom now. 2 from Marvel. Spends a lock. Thinking about it. Spends it. For 3.
Value.
It's half. Looking worse and worse as the combats go on. 132 for Andreas to Tom's 65. Yeah, Sturm really putting in the Australian sentiments in chat there. Yikes. It's a rough one for Team Aussie. Tom is a very good player. He's consistently top table at every tournament that he ever brings his big tall person into. But I think this, and if Actor is in the chat, he can probably back it up here. This was probably a not so good matchup, and I think the team may have thrown Tom to the wolves and hoping that one of the other guys can get up. And although the team did really well this week to get 3-3 at this point, this last match just unfortunately happened to be a real bad matchup for Team Australia. So needed Tom to pull a rabbit out of a hat, and unfortunately he's lost his hat.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing one of the wonders of OTC here. That matchup process of mashing up your squads with your opponent's squads and trying to get favourable matches. This one, as you said, not really in Tom's favour, but definitely in Sweden's. This squad is one of the few things right now that really threatens Heratani.
So, not quite sure what Tom was going for with the stop there. Probably maybe just trying to let Hera get a kill shot onto Arvel, but the stop was a very, very bad move there because you probably block Arvel. He doesn't mind, he's shooting you anyway. Ahsoka does exactly what Ahsoka has done, and now Wedge is probably just going to one forward into you anyway. He was probably happy. Oh, no. I'll take it back. But I mean, he can happily barrel roll here. Probably initiative kill Kyle, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tom just does the gentlemanly thing and lets us all take an early night. Or an early day if you're Swedish. You'll get an early day. I think it's around 2 p.m. for you guys over there.
Oh, Andreas looking to have a nice lunch after this one, celebrating what is looking to be the Swedish win here.
Oh, that shot there is very indicative of Tom's dice for this game. Pretty much re-rolled 2 blanks into 2 blanks, and that's his dice have not really done him any favors here. But Andreas's positioning, get from round to round, has really helped him capitalize on the weak dice on Tom's side. And
there's a dead Kyle.
There's a very dead Kyle because you've got a bump and you've got a wedge, so no dice, and you take 3. And Kyle says, "Good night, everyone." Hera versus the world. She's got 3 health left. Not taking any shots. Yeah, Sturm, honestly, we've streamed every one of Tom's XTC games, and he's lost every single one. I think he needs 3 shirts with a wheel printed on it. He has been bust every round. Looking at his matchups, he's had really rough matchups. He's come very close to winning a couple of them. This one, he had a really good first engagement, but the points will tell you that he just could not keep up with the maneuverability of these A-Wings and the power of Wedge. Wedge just, if you don't take down Wedge early, he will just rip through your ships. So I mean, Tom's just playing for pride here. He's got six minutes left on the clock. I'm sure he just wants to see a fireball where Arvel once was.
Yeah, he's definitely got a vendetta here. He wants to take down Arvel, I think. And hopefully, still punch something in and feel happy about it, rather than getting thrown under the what would be a trike, 3 wheels this round. What have we got coming up, Cam? So we don't know the matchups for next round, but I assume we'll be up for streaming some more XTC while the other rounds progress. Do we know what the matchups are going to look like?
No, I don't know who the next... it is known who Australia and... it's known, I think, but I have not looked who is up next for Team Australia or Team Sweden. So if anyone in the chat happens to know, please enlighten us. But we will continue to stream all of the XTC games we can get our grubby little hands on. I should also mention that if you miss the beginning of the game or you want to go back and rewatch any of the games, we do upload the games after onto our YouTube channel. I'm sure we will drop the link for that in the chat. So please go subscribe to that. We upload every game, even if it doesn't go the way we want it to go. We upload it. It's good for posterity, for research, and for learning, because that is really what we want to do here. We want everyone to get a little bit better at competitive X-Wing, and we want to showcase it as much as we can. So please follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can bring you more and more X-Wing, good competitive X-Wing.
And we see a expected round there. Hera blocks Wedge, and everyone else has turned out. So no real action there. And speaking of grubby hands, Cam, our hands are grubby through a bit of help from other people. There's a few people we want to shout out, right?
Yes. Oh, thank you. I did totally forget. I did want to give a big shout out to Simon, Target Lock TV. He was in the chat earlier, and he also helped out with the issue we had a few rounds ago. He had both myself and fellow slug Suresh on his channel earlier today, and also showcased 2 of the other Sweden versus Australia games. So big shout out to Target Lock TV, and also a big shout out to the Fearless Gundarks, who pretty much set the standard for streaming here in Australia. So big shout out to Nobby and the Fearless Gundarks, because Nobby's a fantastic streamer, fantastic player, also on the Australian XTC team, and has been very supportive of the Slugs, so I really appreciate that. And we did sort of steal Suresh from him when Suresh moved to Sydney, so I've got to at least give him some appreciation for that. But Suresh is a lovely man, and he will co-commentate for anyone, and he will help anyone. So yeah, big shout out to Gundarks and Target Lock TV. Thank you for the folly. Thank you for the follow, Academy Krieger, as we continue to watch Tom's folly as he just gets through the meat grinder.
And we see the expected 3 sloops there from Hera. Ahsoka ready to take those shots, and the Talon roll from Wedge as well.
I mean, he probably continues into Ahsoka. He's got a range 1 there. No tokens. This is clean dice, pure dice. 2 crits, not bad, but I mean, Ahsoka's got 2 shields still anyway, and just rolls natural evades. So I think Simon's probably breathing a sigh of relief. He was feeling a bit stressed after the last 2 games. He can probably have a nice drink tonight with the guys and relax.
Definitely something I miss most about playing X-Wing in person. We do have a few things coming up now in New South Wales, which is great. We have a tournament at our local next weekend, and very soon after that we have one hosted a bit further out west by Onyx Squadron, also located in New South Wales.
That is a dead Hera. That is the game.
There it is.
Yeah, really just Tom throwing a good game smiley face into the chat there. I'm going to see if the guys want to come in for a bit of a post-game interview. I did say to them that if neither of them are crying at the end of the game, that we would love to have them. We're going to hop into their Discord, Jim, just where we left them from before. So we'll go join them now, guys, and we will ask them, and I'm sure I know the answer, how they feel. Boys.
Hey.
Wow, hey.
You are live on the Sydney City Space Slugs stream. Andreas, I'm sure you're feeling elated and very excited.
Yeah, that's...
Congratulations, Andreas.
Thank you.
Yeah, very strong positioning game. Really good use of the A-Wing's maneuverability. Really well done. How did you find that one?
Well, the first with the Hera wasn't too good when I placed her range 1 into 3 ships, I guess. It wasn't too good, but then I just managed to natty out with those red dice from Wedge, and yeah, I just went from there.
Yeah, I mean,
To be fair, if there was, I really had some hot dice with Wedge when he shot the unmodded.
Yeah, look, the way that I always talk about it is anyone can get good dice, but only a good player can capitalize on good dice. And so you definitely had some really good greens and some really good reds, but you kept the pressure on and you kept the arcs pointed in the right directions, which meant that you were rolling dice, and that's really all that matters. And your positioning game was really fantastic.
Yeah, thanks.
What did you think of? I know Tom pulled that layer out. What did you think of that layer, the first engagement layer?
That was, I think that was a good layer because it took me on the edge of the bed, like we say in Sweden. Like, it really surprised me. So when you got, so I think that was a really good. And the turn after was also really good because he got range, because he stopped. Because I really thought he would do one forward or two bank or bump with Benthic, but he got range one into Arvel, but Arvel didn't get punished for it. So I thought it was a really good way to use Leia. So I thought,
Tom. So that layer play was really good. I think it was the only call, because if you don't do that stop, you probably just lose Benthic there, because every ship shoots him and everyone, and Benthic just doesn't even get a peep. But so once you do that stop, how did you feel about your positioning in that first engagement?
Really good, because I was able to stop. So basically, Andreas, in all fairness, when I got this match in the in the matchup process, I was like, this is basically a probable loss for me. And the reason that we calculated that was because of your Arvel and your Ahsoka. And it's just so strong, because if you bump Arvel with intimidation into my Benthic, then essentially what's going to happen is you're going to remove 2 green dice from Benthic with Wedge. You're going to have double mods with all of them. You're going to get the prockets off, etc., etc., etc. We basically just thought that I was going to lose a ship really quick unless I could somehow try and catch Benthic out in the open. Arvel out in the open. Team Sweden's very distracting right now.
It's not me.
Basically the whole idea in testing against this matchup was to try and maximize my first engagement with the layer stop, catch out some of your important pieces as quick as possible. And I think I did that. I think I played the opening really, really well. It's just that I couldn't get any damage through. Then you started seeing what I was worried about. You started seeing the Ahsoka maneuverability. You started seeing the Ahsoka actions after I'd, kind of played my pieces. And you were able to get Arvel multiple times into a position that I couldn't really prevent you from bumping into things and giving Wedge some really good -2 green dice shots. I think the way that I looked at this matchup was that I had 2 shots. I had the layer on the engage, and then I had the follow-up round after the layer. And if I couldn't do a lot of damage in that position, then I was in trouble. And then there was just basically no way that I could claw it back. And unfortunately, I just couldn't get the damage through.
The blinded pilot caused you problems as well, because you had that target lock on Arvel, which probably would have popped Arvel there, but because you couldn't spend it, switched targets to Wedge.
Say that again, sorry?
You had the target lock on Arvel, but had been given a blinded pilot crit, so you had to switch targets with
blinded pilot was really rough. Really rough. So there was a couple of things that kind of compounded. I mean, the lack of damage on the engage, and then Hera, like, it made up for it when I got Hera. But like after that, you just saw, Andreas just making really, really good use of Ahsoka's ability there, and I just wasn't really able to do anything about it. Fantastic game, and it kind of went exactly as I thought it would. But I'm glad that I could kind of try and make a game of it.
Yeah. I think the one winning thing for me was the barrel roll with Wedge, when he did the one forward here, when he managed to barrel between Kyle and the stone, because if he would stay there, he might kill Garvin, but he would get one round range 1 from Kyle and Benthic range 2.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So the other option was I didn't think that you'd make the barrel roll with Wedge. I thought I might have been able to smother that enough with Kyle with the one forward. So that kind of took me by surprise. But even then, I wasn't expecting Benfic to go down in that salvo, because you had unmodded with Wedge, unmodded with Arvel, and then you did have double modded with Ahsoka though. So I was expecting to get a shot with Benfic and at least take half, and then maybe get one more use out of Leia. But it is what it is. It is a dice game. We are playing a dice game. So
And for me, it feels really good because it's the rematch from our Worlds match we had in 2019.
Oh, right.
Was that on stream, Andreas? Was that on stream as well?
No, but I think he played Tabson and 2 aces, and I played before
U-Wing. Yeah.
And I think you natty out with your Tabson when he had gone.
That's right. I do remember that.
And he killed my Benthic, like I killed his Benthic this round.
You killed my Benthic now.
Yeah.
It's funny what we remember, but that is the beauty of Worlds, and I really am excited for Worlds to come back, because I do recognise your name, Andreas, which is why I thought maybe that one was on stream, but I think I've just seen you on every other stream because you're just clearly a very good player. So thank you so much for letting us stream, both of you. I know it sort of adds to the pressure when it's also on stream for both of your countries and friends to watch.
Yeah. And it's free against between the countries too.
Yeah, there was a very tense game. The chat was shaking in their boots, but you both played really well. I really want to say thank you and good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, thanks so much, Andreas. Really enjoyed the matchup. Congratulations to Team Sweden. And I really hope we get to what is it? So we're 1-1 now. So when we meet again, that's the decider, isn't it?
Yeah, the final match between us.
Exactly. No, very excited.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. We'll end the stream there. Thank you for playing once again, and thank you everyone for tuning in. I just realised that I did forget to press the record button, so we may not be able to get this one up on YouTube, but we'll see. I'll see if I can salvage it somehow. So, thank you, guys, and thank you everyone for joining in. Have a wonderful afternoon / evening.
Yeah.
See you later.
You too.